Derek Carr was actually shown yelling at teammates and coaches, particularly late in the fourth quarter. There was a weird miscommunication between him and Chris Olave, wide receiver for the New Orleans Saints, but this was happening throughout the entire game. Miscommunications, bad plays, points left on the board for the New Orleans Saints, and Derek Carr, a guy who's sort of been a very team-oriented player, is started to lash out at a few teammates. He even said that he needs to chill out when it comes to these outbursts, and he actually said, talking in regards to that Chris Olave thing, he said, I wasn't talking to Chris. Like the past 2 weeks, I was just talking in general. There were some things that happened today that led to some pretty big negative plays that should never have happened, and I think that's where my frustration comes from. We both thought that the Saints would go far in the playoffs, potentially have a long playoff run with Derek Carr, an upgrade over Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston. And right now, it's not looking too good. One of the lowest scoring teams in the NFL. Not looking too good. Dennis Allen, the head coach. Defense, actually, surprisingly, it's been pretty good this year. It's fallen apart, at least in this game, against Trevor Lawrence. Do you think the Saints are in danger of potentially missing the playoffs, especially with the Buccaneers leading the division and the Falcons really just right there?
Well, yeah, I guess so. They're 3-4 now, right?
Yes.
And their division's much tougher than we thought it was going to be. I mean, the reason I picked them to make the playoffs is because I thought the division would stink. I thought that Tampa Bay would be horrible. I thought the Falcons would be horrible. And I figured the Saints, they had a good defense last year. They were really, the quarterback position was where they were weak last year. And with Derek Carr in there, I thought, yeah, they'll win the division. But now, we were sort of wrong about Tampa Bay. They're much better than we thought. Their defense is really good, and Baker Mayfield has found new life because he's throwing to really good receivers. So I think that's helped him out a lot. They may even have a little bit of a running game there. So Carolina stinks, but they're going to be. They may not even win a game this year. But the Falcons are not bad, right? Although Ritter, I'm sorry. I watched him play on the game.
He's not the answer.
He's not the answer.
Yeah.
They need somebody else. They've got a good running game. They got a good offensive line. They got a decent defense, but they're weak at quarterback. So I don't think they'll make the playoffs. But Tampa Bay may be the one that wins the division there.
Right.
Maybe the Saints could sneak in a wild card. I don't know.
Potentially.
I don't think they're that bad a team. I mean, they wiped out the Patriots, right? We were at the game.
Yeah.
They looked like world beaters in that game. Since then, they've lost 2 in a row. Right?
Yeah.
So I thought Derek Carr played well last night, right?
Ooh.
He had 300 yards passing, 33 of 55, a TD. He did have one interception, but that was kind of batted up into the air. He did kind of force it in there, though. He could have thrown to the safety valve, but he probably wouldn't have gotten the first down. So he was trying to get the first down. So I like his competitiveness. I think, a little yelling here and there, maybe not such a bad thing.
I'm going to disagree with you on that. When it comes to the way you've been playing, I understand if, for instance, if it's a Tom Brady or a Rodgers or anyone like that who has that, reputation of even in adversity, you somehow pull it out on the other side. Derek Carr doesn't really have that. Yes, I understand he has a lot of come from behind wins, but in this season, actually in last season as well, but particularly in this season, the Saints have failed to score more than 20 points in 5 of their 7 games. This offense is anemic. We thought Andy Dalton and Jameis Winston. First of all, you thought Jameis Winston should have played last season over Andy Dalton.
Yeah.
Dennis Allen didn't think so. Now you bring in Derek Carr, who we both agreed a complete upgrade over either one of those quarterbacks. They're actually worse. They're scoring less points. This offense looks bad. Not only that, think about it. They thought, the Saints did, that Derek Carr was our long-term solution. 4 years, up to $150 million contract. The guy's making like $33 million a year. He had turnover issues. The offense is terrible. Like it can't get going. Now, you talked about that Patriots blowout. Does that show how up and down the Saints could be, or how really bad the Patriots actually are?
Could be how bad the Patriots are.
I think
that's
more
the Saints
so
have lost to. Although the Jaguars are an up and coming team, they
could be.
They've been on a roll here. They're 5-2. They're playing much better every game, and I think that I saw that, and that's why I picked them. And I'm not surprised they won, but the game was tied late in the fourth quarter.
Yeah. And then Christian Kirk had that tremendous yard after the catch. I think it was a 44-yard touchdown.
Yeah.
It was incredible. And then when it mattered, Just think about this, right? Foster Monroe, the tight end who dropped that beautiful wide open could have been touchdown, like the last play of the game for the Saints. Do you think that Derek Carr screaming and yelling throughout the game, it puts some nerves into you? It makes you think maybe twice about, your decision making. I think that could have been nerves from, Derek Carr pounding on everybody, especially top stars like Olave. I mean, you had guys like Michael Thomas. He had a tremendous touchdown. That's why I think tie the game. It was a beautiful sideline throw, and it was a beautiful catch. But then there's also some coaching issues, I think, for the Saints. Not going for it maybe when you should have in enemy territory, going kicking field goals on like a 4th and 3 where you could go for it, punting when you may need to go for it. Like there's coaching situations that Dennis Allen, he's being a very conservative coach, and I think that's what got Anthony Lynn fired. Being too aggressive may get Brandon Staley fired for the Chargers, but you need to have this blend of taking risks and then playing conservative. Dennis Allen seems to be never taking any risks. Does that mean he doesn't have any trust in his players? In Derek Carr, they spent 4 years, $150 million on for this guy? I mean, you could have had Andy Dalton or Jameis Winston starting for you. So I think it's a combination of coaching and playing.
Defense played okay, right?
The Saints had the better defense.
Yeah, I think that he trusts the defense, so that's why he's playing conservative. You think he's going to get the ball back a lot?
In this game, you got to read the writing on the wall here. Trevor Lawrence and this team was moving the ball. They were able to run the ball pretty effectively. Trevor Lawrence was their leading rusher in this game, and which is actually very, very surprising. He was dealing with the leg issue. I believe it was a knee issue. He comes into this game. He didn't practice all week. He was a game-time decision, and then comes out, leads his team in rushing. 8 carries, 59 yards. He had a 26-yard run in there.
He had a good game.
He had a phenomenal game for the circumstances. Him not
20 of 29, 204 yards, a TD.
Yeah, no, and this is one of the top-tier defenses in the league, especially in the NFC. In total ranking, they are the 6th best defense in the NFL. 6th in passing, 10th in rushing.
Kirk is having a good season.
Kirk? Oh, Christian Kirk, yeah. Which is surprising because people think they overpaid for him last season, but his production so far, maybe it's slightly overpaid, but his production is perfectly fine for the amount he's getting paid.
6 targets, 6 receptions, 90 yards, a TD.
Yeah, no,
that 44-yard play, he looked like he could have gotten tackled several times. He made into the end zone.
Big time. So when we talk about the Saints team, I really think, based on just how the rest of the NFC is opening up right now, I mean, what did I say before I changed my mind, though? The Rams are still in it. Right now, they're a playoff team. Seattle, right now, a playoff team. And then the Cowboys fill in that last wild card spot. So right now, you have the 4 division winners in San Francisco, Tampa Bay, Detroit, and Philly. Then you got Dallas, who I don't think the Saints are going to pass. And then you have the Seahawks and the Rams. So right now, if the Rams lose, they're both 3 and 4. Then I think there's other aspects to it that get factored into whether or not you're a playoff team. Mm-hmm. But Seattle, they could lose a game and still be in it. And the Rams, I think they're up against the Steelers, who don't have an offense. So I think there's actually, we both thought earlier on in the year, based on their schedule, having it be the easiest schedule in the NFL, right behind or right ahead of the Falcons. I mean, this team does not look like what we expected it. People said in our comment section, 12-13 wins. This team, can it win 9? That's what I think. That's what we said.
What's Tampa Bay's record?
They're 3-2 right now. They just came off a bye.
Who are they playing this weekend? Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay is playing the Falcons this week.
Oh,
I believe they're 2.5-point favorites.
I think if the Saints are going to get in the playoffs, maybe it's winning the division, because that's probably their best opportunity, right? Because the other teams are. I think Tampa Bay is still questionable. They played over their heads a little bit, I think.
You think? You think Baker Mayfield is playing way above his head a little bit?
Well, he has great receivers. I think that's a key. The quarterback's got to have some receivers that can get some separation. And those guys do, right? And
we talked about that at length before on this show about a different team. But no, I completely agree. I think having a lot of talent, sort of clouds how bad you might actually be. Kirk Cousins is a mediocre quarterback, but if you have Justin Jefferson who just put up 1,800 yards in a season, that might help you, in your rankings, in your reputation a little bit, to go from to have a Stephon Diggs and then you go to Justin Jefferson. I mean, it's interesting just how great talent could shadow maybe a lot of your flaws, which is something that a couple quarterbacks potentially have, and then one quarterback does not have, who we're going to talk about a little bit later. Hi, everybody. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe here to get the latest from the show. Also, if you want to check out the full episode, make sure you click the I in the top right-hand corner right now. If you want to listen to this show anywhere you go, make sure you go to anchor.fm/The Harvey Hour or anywhere you get your podcasts.